The TV show utilizes mythology and folklore to craft a dark, immersive horror narrative that transcends typical scares, weaving a complex tapestry of supernatural mystery. Set in an isolated town plagued by monstrous creatures and inexplicable occurrences, it draws on the rich tradition of European folk horror, a genre that fuses ancient beliefs and rituals with the chilling impact of modernity. Takes full advantage of Purgatory, Hauntology, and Primal fears, infusing these mythological elements into a story that feels timeless, yet profoundly unsettling. At its core, echoes the essential themes of folk horror, particularly the isolation of a small, seemingly timeless town where supernatural forces govern everyday life. This setting taps into the deep-rooted fear of isolation, a hallmark of folk horror, where characters are trapped in an environment that offers no escape. Like classic horror films such as The Wicker Man and Children of the Stones, builds tension through the conflict between ancient customs and modern individuals who are outsiders to the world they find themselves trapped in. The town becomes a character itself, with its own dark rules and hidden dangers, resembling a purgatorial prison. The supernatural forces that haunt it seem tied to an ancient evil, reflecting the folk horror trope of old curses or rituals that haunt the present. In these stories, people often adhere to age-old beliefs out of fear of angering something far darker, an idea mirrored in where residents are coerced into compliance, terrified of the forces that linger just outside. One of the show's most compelling elements is the notion that the town represents a purgatorial space, where characters are trapped in a space between life and death, unable to escape despite their best efforts. In mythology, purgatory is a realm of testing, cleansing, or punishment for souls caught in the transition between the earthly and the divine. Leans heavily into this symbolism, as characters' struggles to survive each night mirror ancient myths of lost travelers or cursed heroes wandering in limbo, seeking redemption or an escape that seems forever out of reach. The town, much like a traditional purgatory, offers no respite. The monsters that stalk its inhabitants each night, coupled with the town's mysterious rules, create an atmosphere of constant dread. This purgatorial layer adds psychological depth to the horror, suggesting that the character's escape from may require more than just physical action. It may require spiritual or emotional transformation, echoing myths where characters must confront their inner demons to find peace. Incorporating the theory of hauntology, taps into the lingering effects of past traumas. Hauntology refers to the way past events and unresolved conflicts continue to echo into the present, often manifesting as ghosts or unresolved spirits. This thematic undercurrent is integral to where the town's supernatural forces are likely remnants of ancient traumas and evils that refuse to die. The concept of hauntology intensifies the horror, suggesting that the town's disturbing events are the result of historical wrongs or unfinished stories. The characters find themselves entangled in the spectral web where the sins of the past cannot be outrun. Much like in folklore, where ghosts or curses torment those who dare to venture into forgotten places, the town becomes a living testament to the horrors that still linger, unresolved and unhealed. The supernatural creatures that prowl the town by night serve as an embodiment of humanity's most primal fears. These creatures are not merely threats. They are archetypes of the unknown, echoing ancient mythological beings that haunt the darkness and prey on those who venture too far from safety. In this way, invokes these age-old fears of monsters lurking just beyond the edges of the known world. The creatures in are reminiscent of the mythological beings that haunt dark forests or shadowy realms in folklore, threatening and malevolent forces that defy human comprehension. In these old tales, the monsters serve as a reminder of the dangerous unknowns that lie just outside the safe boundaries of civilization. Likewise, the inhabitants of From's town live in constant fear, adhering to the town's rules not only out of tradition, but also out of sheer terror of what happens if they stray too far from safety. In mythology, gemstones like sapphires are often seen as powerful symbols of protection, purity, and wisdom. And while does not directly incorporate sapphires, it similarly uses symbols, objects, and designated spaces within the town to convey mystical protection. Just as in many mythological stories where sacred items or spaces shield individuals from evil forces, certain safe areas in offer a sense of protection from the malevolent creatures that roam the town at night. This parallel underscores the role of belief in the show. The town's inhabitants turn to their safe spaces as symbols of their faith and protection, echoing the ancient belief in the power of sacred objects or places to repel evil. These protective spaces within contribute to the show's eerie atmosphere, where the power of belief, whether in ancient rituals or modern strategies, becomes a key element in survival. Through its rich integration of mythology and folklore, creates an unnerving world that taps into humanity's oldest fears and desires. The timeless themes of fear of the unknown, the quest for redemption, and the haunting consequences of unresolved pasts have long been explored in mythological tales, and brings these stories to life in a modern context. By embedding these mythological symbols into its narrative, From crafts a hauntingly layered experience that transcends typical horror fare. The show doesn't just entertain, it connects viewers to a deeper, more primal part of the human experience, drawing on ancient stories and universal fears. In doing so, From reinterprets these age-old myths, offering a fresh but deeply unsettling perspective on the fears that continue to haunt us, generation after generation. Through its blend of mythology, horror, and folk traditions, From delivers an immersive and timeless horror experience that resonates on a profound level.